Once you dust for fingerprints, it's pretty clear who ruined America. White people.
People my age that they think you're dishonest.
And when he said that, I winced. And I was wondering, do you get your feelings hurt sometimes? What frustrates you the most about perceptions about you?
A declared socialist, he dramatically improved health care and literacy.
Many saw positives, education and health care for all, racial integration.
You see the medicine system they are very proud of.
I'm quite certain that they're not celebrating his death in Cuba, and he brought health care.
Even Castro's critics praise his advances in health care and in education.
Considered, even to this day, the George Washington of his country.
Fidel continued to promote leftist movements in Latin America, where he remained popular until his death.
He was a romantic figure when he came into power. We American young high school kids and kids in those days rooted like mad for the guy.
He will be remembered fondly.
You see donkey carts alongside cars, trucks, and buses in downtown Havana because that's exactly what they'd rather have for transportation.
And he was a voracious reader, very, very smart.
He would be a figure that you'd look up to and say, God, this guy's great.
It's been extraordinary, I've got to tell you, Rachel. First of all, she did not mention the email controversy. This armory is filled. The overflow room is filled. They've opened up the doors to the ballroom. There are a lot of people here. James Taylor played for 45 minutes. It was extraordinary. This has been a sort of magical night.
Some of the dark and satanic tones that Cruz has.
Well, if you go to a speech from his dad, who's a pastor, evangelical, Rafael Cruz, it actually is satanic.
There's a lot of domestic terrorists we classify that do that. They're rooted in white hate movements. And so it could be that.
But ISIS would do this to 100 million Americans if they could.
But so would white nationalists. We're not getting to the core issue, which is how easy it is to get a gun. I mean, Florida happens to have the largest gun-owning population in the country and some of the most lax laws.
Hillary Clinton has a very strong gun control program. Trump, he's tethered to the NRA.
You know, we're having this debate about terrorism or domestic. Doesn't make any difference. Guns are really easy to get their hands on, and that's the debate that ought to be going on.
What's breathing life into ISIS is this sense, this rhetoric that's coming from prominent politicians that confirms their view of the world.
And clearly there's a place today in this dialogue for us to talk about the tone and temperament of our national leaders.
And if we just understand that all of the hateful thoughts become hateful words, become hateful actions.
I don't want the Obama administration's final year to be marred by a fugitive slave law around the question of this deportation that leads in the context of Flint to actual children being actually poisoned by lead because their parents are too afraid to open the door for clean water.
If the child was walking around the periphery of this lagoon, it was nighttime, what would the gator be thinking?
An extraordinary sit-in on the House floor stretches into the early morning hours.
Make no mistake, this was dramatic, like nothing we have ever seen before. Truly one of the most dramatic demonstrations on the House floor in modern American history.
Were you surprised at how large this got? I mean, Kim Kardashian was tweeting about it.
Watching John Lewis, a man, who marched with Dr. King, now you see him literally sitting with your colleagues on the floor. What does that image say to you?
Trump is headed for a historic defeat. The larger the defeat, in a sense, the healthier it will be for the Republican Party, at least if it doesn't bring Paul Ryan's speakership down with him. It might be a wake-up call to those Republicans who have existed in this little thought bubble of their own that this isn't a winning form of politics.
You know, we could be talking landslide.
Hillary Clinton today is more likely to win in a landslide that would not only have an impact on this race, but realign the country.
That would translate to an electoral majority and probably electoral landslide for Hillary.
This could be tight, or it could be a landslide for Hillary.
Most analysts are saying that Hillary Clinton's going to win in a landslide.
If that spreads among women voters all across the country, he's going to lose by a landslide, and they could lose the Senate and the House.
So the technical term for that, if she's anywhere near your prediction, would be blowout.
I'd give a landslide. I don't know.
You call that a landslide.
I would say a landslide.